Well, Danny, great to see you as always. First of all, what have you been up to over the past few weeks? How much have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, we've had a great time. We're working really hard as a football club. It's been particularly recruitment based. As you can imagine, we have a lot to do in terms of player recruitment, also a little bit to do in terms of staff recruitment as well. I think we've worked hard to just create an alignment, to find a way of working, a recruitment model that's going to work for us going forward. I think firstly you have to have the game idea and be clear on how you want to play. You then have to have a really good understanding of the club and also particularly our supporters and the DNA of this city. And it's a unique city, it's a working class city, the people have a real resilience, a determination and a grit, and we want to make sure that we find players that have those qualities, because we know that if we do, we can create a connection with our supporters. And as we know at this football club, our supporters are our definer, and they're so important to the success here. So that's been the main focus. We now have a way of working which has allowed us to identify the players that are available to us in each of the positions. We have positional specific requirements for each position. We know exactly the characters that we want to bring into the building. And then once we've got to that, the next stage is, once you do the identification, it's then to filter and to get to a place where maybe we have 5 players in each position that are available to us. And then we work really hard on the detail. And you know, I know that some people, and I've been a football supporter, and I respect the fact that some will be getting frustrated at the time it takes, and probably I have to take criticism for that, because we do like forensic detail, and with forensic detail it can be very time consuming and requires a huge amount of human resource. But for us, it's always to make sure that we've got the exact right players and the exact right characters to help this football club moving forward. And probably I'm quite fussy. I know exactly what I want, and when you're quite fussy and you know exactly what you want, you're looking for that perfect fit. And certainly in May and June, I'm not willing to compromise on that. And we also know that the better value in the market comes later in the window. So this period has been very much about gathering the information, putting ourselves in a position where we can make some intelligent decisions moving forward.
You've got one new face through the door already though, Liam Vincent from Bromley. Seems like he's one for the future and has a bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we're delighted to bring Liam to the club. He's a young player. Only as an under 18, he would be in his second year of his scholar if he was a Portsmouth player. Already played a number of games at National League level. We've lived those levels. We know how good you have to be to play at those levels, and we know that the young players playing at National League level normally have a really bright future in the Football League ahead of them. We like his power, we like his athleticism. He's a fantastic size. He's got really good quality with his left foot, has the ability to cross on the run, which is a dying art in football nowadays. He also is a set piece taker. Has a lot to do, lots to work on, of course, like any young footballer. We anticipate the next stage in his journey is to get in. Hopefully we can provide him the quality in terms of his learning provision, and also then to try to create the right game, the right game idea for him and the right game process for him. So we know that for all young players, we know that playing games and having the right games program is so crucial to their development. We anticipate the next stage for him to be alone, but we're really looking forward to working with him.
And it must be good for the club as well to be able to make those almost sort of investments on players that are going to continue to progress under you.
Absolutely. We want to produce a ready-made team for today, because we know that the ambition is for promotion. So we need to make sure that we get the balance between having enough players that are ready-made to be able to play and compete at the top end of this division, but also we need to safeguard the future of the club. And now we have Hadji as a right back, Liam is a left back, which we very much believe are the future of this football club. And what we now have to do is work really hard to create the support mechanism and also the pathway to foster their development.
Going the other way, Jack Watmore, Ben Close, Ryan Williams moving on to pastures new. Were those departures not necessarily something you expected, but something that you were prepared for?
Yeah, I think you're always prepared for every eventuality. There are players that we would have liked to have kept. It wasn't possible. We totally respect that. I think all three players that you mentioned are really good characters. Have done well for this football club over a period of time. We would have liked to have kept them and move forward with them, but it wasn't possible. And you know, we respect that. We wish them well. I think all three players conducted themselves really professionally, and we wish them nothing but success moving forward.
Yeah, and of course it means that you've got plenty of time to be able to find those replacements and, as you say, find the right characters to bring in.
Absolutely. For us, there's always contingencies. Like I said, you have to prepare for every eventuality. Our aim is to get significantly better. That is our aim. That's what we want to do. We don't like to make change unless it's for significant gain. And we want to try to produce a team come August that allows us to achieve on the objectives that we've set ourselves. And to do that, what we need to do is create a really balanced squad where we have some young developing players with real potential to play at this level and beyond. We then need to make sure that we recruit enough ready-made players that are robust enough and have the technical and tactical qualities to be able to play at this level. We also want to sign players that can play beyond this level and have the potential to take this club to where it wants to go and then establish in the next division. And if we can do that and also add a little bit of experience, I think, and enough leadership, because every good team that I've had has always had a spirit and a togetherness, but has always had 4 or 5 real leaders that are driving the standards on a daily basis. And if we can get that complement, then we really believe that we can be successful.
You mentioned that you understand why there might be a bit of fan frustration, but of course they won't be able to see all of the hard work that's going on behind the scenes. What sort of insight can you give them into what's been going on here at the training ground?
No, I totally understand the frustration, and I've been a football supporter, and when I was a football supporter it was teletext that you would watch for, and you would get up in the morning and try to see who your club had signed, and invariably being a West Ham supporter it was nobody. And I understand where they're coming from. But all I would say is that the frustration should come towards me. Michael and the board have been nothing but brilliant since the moment we come in. They've given us complete clarity, unconditional support. We are trying to become the hardest working football club in the world, and that's something that really resonates with me, and something that we're going to work relentlessly and tirelessly to achieve, with full respect for the rest of the footballing world and how hard they work, of course. So we know how big that challenge is. We work in a way that requires a lot of due diligence, forensic detail. I'm a methodical worker, and it's how I work. It does frustrate people. It frustrates people that I work with. It frustrates supporters. I make no apologies for that. That's where we've had our success. All the promotions that we've had over the years have come from doing the detail and making sure that when we sign players, we are signing players that are significantly better than the players that we had, that totally fit our game idea, that complement the players that we already have at the club, and allow us to achieve the objectives that we set ourselves. And I won't compromise from that. And it does take forensic detail, which takes a lot of time. And the process always is, like I said, to identify the players, then to filter the players, then to do real in-depth work, which can be up to 10 games watching a player, then around 8 references on each player to find out about their character and their personality, because we've got to make sure that they fit our way of working and fit our dressing room and the players that we already have here. When we get to that stage, we then put them into our statistics program, and that allows us to give a natural comparison to the players we have at the club. It also allows us to see how they would fit with the current players we have at the club, and then if they pass all of that, then Nicky and I normally lock ourselves in a room for pretty much half a day and make sure that they're the right ones for us. And once we get to that stage, if we get to that stage, then we start the negotiations. And that is the way that we work. And it means that sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but ultimately you don't win or lose any points in June. And while we would like to get the spine of the squad together by June the 28th, we know that the window goes deep this year, goes all the way to the 31st of August, and we know that there does become better value as the window goes on. And we're absolutely focused and committed and working every single minute of every single day to try to create a team that the people of Portsmouth can be proud of. I want them to leave Fratton Park on a Saturday, and I want them to be really proud and connected and associated with a team that they've just watched play. And I also want to try to encourage as many of them to follow us to the away grounds, and I want to see how many League One away grounds we can take over as a football club this year. And I know to make that happen, we've got to get a team that they can connect with.
Just a final question for you. You strike me as the kind of person who would quite relish the idea of having live games every single day. How much are you looking forward to the Euros starting?
Absolutely, and I'm sure the people of Portsmouth are going to get right behind the England team. I think we have our first game against Croatia on Sunday, which will be brilliant. We wish Gareth Southgate and the England team nothing but success. It's been a long time since we've won anything as a country at that level in football. So I think we've got a really exciting squad. It's a very competitive competition for sure, but I'm sure we'll be in a position where we can get through the group, hopefully, and then once you do that and you get to the knockout phase, anything is possible.
Thanks, Danny.
Pleasure.